How is everybody doing today? It's me, Stately, and this is City Skylines. Welcome to the fair town of good intentions. Yesterday we made this new intersection and it's working like a charm. Let's make sure we haven't caused any issues elsewhere. This is not quite as nice an intersection, but it works just fine. So, hey, no complaints. Today, I think we're going to do some infillage. We're still losing money. Occasionally we make some money, occasionally we lose some money, but the bottom line is I've spent a little bit too much money on nice things, and now we just need to get the population up a little bit and get more people using all of these nice things. So, I think we're going to give the poor people somewhere to live today. Let's go ahead and make a trailer park. And I think right here is a perfectly fine place for a trailer park. I mean, it's... Oh, hey, look, it's raining again. What a frickin' surprise. It's not checked, but if I check it and uncheck it, it goes away. Magic. So what I'm thinking here is we'll have this section here be a trailer park. We'll go ahead and run this road all the way over to here. And we'll redo the power lines a little bit, because we have to. But let's run it here instead of straight over the trailer park. So we'll just go like this, and like that, and beautiful. Now, I think we're going to... Oh, look at that. Bit of a fire. Fortunately, fire department is on site and no problem at all. That's because they're more or less competent. There's one thing I want to look at here, and that's the pollution levels. This might actually not be a terribly suitable location based on pollution. Which one is the pollution button? Is it this? No. Outside connections. Pollution. It's the purple thing. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It's not great. But I think if we stay away from the edge here, we'll be fine. So what we'll do is we'll start with the main access road. And we're getting people using this as a slip road already, and that might cause some problems here. So let's go ahead and make sure that whatever happens here doesn't end up causing any traffic disasters. We're going to disable left turns here, and we're going to disable left turns there. So that might irritate some people who are trying to just use this as a shortcut. I don't really care. Problem solved, right? And let's put the entrance... Well, let's just put the entrance right about in the middle here. Directly opposite the blimp landing. And we'll go like this. And we'll split off on both sides. Like so. And like so. Put in a few side connections. Create a district. Oops. A little carried away there. Oh, come on, really? Obviously not what I was trying to do, but close enough. Just like that. Okay. And now that we have a district, we can change the themes for the district. Enable theme management and trailer park. I've already used this over by Mudslide. And the clue here is to set up the zoning so that you only have 2 or 3 by 1s. And once these start filling in, we can actually fill in the gaps if we want high density trailer park. I don't know that that's what we want, but we'll see how this looks. And we're just alternating them here. We'll have to see how it ends up looking, but I think this should work just fine. Like that. And then back here we'll do the same thing. A few little ones back here. Not quite, but close. That's our trailer park zone. We have a little central area here. We'll work out what to do with that later. And these are not trailer parks. Oh, jeez. It's doing the thing again. I thought I fixed this. Let's take a look at our theme settings. Oh, that's because I still have international selected. I just need to have exclusively trailer park. Okay, it's no big deal, but we do need to bulldoze these houses. But we do have 2 actual legit trailers so far, so that's a start. Let's go ahead and, shall we fence it off? Shall we put down a hedge? I think a hedge is appropriate. I'll be all slow and stuttery, see if I care. And we'll go with the not horrendously tall one. Turn off the snaps because snapping on hedges is bad. And like this. Take your time. I don't know why it does this. It puts these gaps in. Maybe we need to use the other hedge. Let's see if that doesn't have the gap issues. It still has gaps. Why though? Why is it doing this to me? Odd. Okay, snap to road guidelines? No. Grid? No. Road length? No. Angle? No. We want to snap to nodes though, and it doesn't seem to want to. Not sure why. If we just do short sections, we shouldn't get the gaps. So we just have to make sure it's not all one huge thing. And then it should be a-okay. Then here, because we have the industrial area right there, we'll put the hedge right behind these houses. Gives a little bit of a visual buffer at least. Okay, so there we go. Trailer park magic. How are we doing for water here? Not quite 100% coverage, but easily fixed. Still good on water supply too. It's worth checking out occasionally. Now, what can we use as a clubhouse? I don't know. Clubhouse. These are all ploppables. I mean, those are all Rico. They're the opposite of ploppables. Because obviously when I say one thing, I mean the opposite. And I don't think there are any parks small enough to fit in there, even like a small playground. Oh, a small playground does fit. And is appropriate, I feel. And maybe here we'll actually put down a parking lot because, you know, why not? People want to park, right? There is some roadside parking here. But I think turn all of the snapping off, including the nodes. Anarchy, thank you very much. That's actually pretty perfect. Good news. Good news, everybody. 4x4. Yeah, 4x4 looks good to me. Now we just need to, I think, raise this corner. And we're good. Oh, hello. Yeah, that's why it's a trailer park. Because it's right next to an industrial area. I'm just hoping these people aren't going to end up sick, because that's kind of a pain in the butt when it happens. So we'll let that fill out. Maybe we'll pop down some trees. Let's go with, I don't know, a couple of big ones in the corners where we're not zoning anything, and prop anarchy on. Thank you. Other than that, I think we'll let it fill in because we don't really have a good idea of exactly where the trees can and can't go. All right, there's another area here that's ripe for some infill. We have a cemetery here that I've emptied out because I think it has to go, but I don't know where yet. So we have a cemetery there already. I think we'll move this one next to it. There we go, and we'll move this not too far away because it fulfills a practical purpose. But I also don't want to use any like hugely valuable real estate. That should be fine. Why is that guy sad? I don't know why that guy's sad. Maybe he's just a professional malcontent. While we're here, let's do a little bit of infill. I'm not sure what happened with the zoning here, but this is clearly something we'd want to infill. And this area here, I'm thinking maybe it would be suitable for some high-end, low-density housing. Let's see what we can do with the waterside here. I have a bunch of things here that I don't really understand, like the overpass support network is kind of a mystery to me. Turn the snapping back on, and we'll run this out to here, and then across here, assuming we can keep it all straight. That looks pretty good. Go ahead and lower the ground level so that we don't have anything on the outside that shouldn't be. I'm still turning the brush strength way down here. Actually, instead of lowering it, I'm going to do this so that we don't go overboard. Just need to make sure that the ground level is below the water level along here. And that looks fine. Good. All right. Yeah, that'll do just fine. Now, that's not a road. Let's put down a road here. How shall we set this up? It would be easiest, I think, to have one line just parallel to the waterfront here. What are you trying to do there? It's a little strange. Oh, yeah, dirt path is not exactly what I had in mind. Something with parking, so just a straight path should do the trick, and we'll sort this out manually. Okay, all right, whatever just happened there was clearly bad. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit of bulldozing here because there are some fairly obvious issues with the layout. Okay, so straight line from, say, here to, I don't know why it keeps trying to go up a level. There. Yeah, that's pretty bad. And the problem here is the height difference. That's easy, and maybe here we'll just go like this. No, still don't want to do it, huh? Gonna have to turn anarchy off and see what happens. This is obviously going to be too steep. So let's lower this. Should we lower this? Should we just forget all about it? I'm thinking this is pretty straightforward, and we don't really need another connection here, so let's do this instead. Let's run a road out to here at a... Really, I can get 88 degrees in either direction, but I can't have 90. Is that what you're saying? Not a fan. No, no. Not quite getting what we want here. That's a tree that didn't have to die. Come on, all right, here. Snap only to the angle. Thank you. We'll go down to here. Little road section there. A little road section. What are we doing? There. And that gives us a setup for a neat little neighborhood. Still got some altitude issues here. Let's just smooth it out manually. That leaves us with a nasty slope here. I don't think we can easily do anything about that, though. So let's start filling this in. And 3 and 3. Like I said, we're doing low density housing here. And not a massive amount of it, but it should be pretty valuable ground regardless of that. And we don't need to have the simulation paused for this either. We can just let it run. Got a little gap there. That's fine. Something just about like that. Now, what are you not connected to? Oh, you're a power line that's not connected to anything. Is that an issue? It doesn't look like it's an issue, so I think this line can just go. That was originally meant to power the cemetery that was here. Nobody wants to live here, huh? Okay, we got water. There's one small section here that doesn't have water. I'm going to turn the snaps back on because getting all kinds of no snappies going on here. You'd think it was pretty high value land. I thought it would fill up very quickly. I wonder if it has something to do with whatever the hell happened here. There's always something. Why are you being so difficult? That's better. I lost all my zoning, but that's better. There. But, like I said, nobody seems to want to live here. It is what it is. I'm sure it'll fill out. Now I'd like to see if we can do a retaining wall here. I would have to go from right about here. No. Right about here. Yeah, that's not going to fly. There's just no room for it. It's too bad. Other than that, I don't really know what to make of the fact that it's just not filling out. There's clearly residential demand, and I can't imagine this isn't a good piece of land to build on. It's not easy to reach, I suppose. All right, next step. I want to move this over here so that it becomes part of the transit terminal. And we'll put it kind of here-ish. This is going to mean we have to redo our ferry lines. That's not the end of the world. Let's take out the existing roads here. And I guess this one too. And connect this all together. Here. Don't like. Me no likey. Why is it doing this? It seems that maybe this section needs to be just a little bit lower. So let's grab this and this and this. There's a node there, but I can't select it. Just move it down a little bit. Oh, there is no node there. Okay. Can we force this to be not a slope? We can. And here we'll line up with this, and we'll put in a curve there. And that's pretty good. I mean, there is obviously a tree in the middle of the road. That's not pretty good. But other than that, this should work just fine. And that gives us the opportunity to put some commerce down here. So the only real issue here is people are going to have to walk all the way up here to get from the ferry terminal to the other transit options here, but I don't know if I care enough to do anything about that. I think it's probably fine. Let's stick with low density here and nothing huge. I don't want it to block the view, but I do like the idea of having some buildings here. And then maybe we'll have some offices here. Even a tiny one there. All right. right. Now, ferry lines. We need to... Oh, we need to get some juice to the ferry terminal, too. Let's get back to our rural power lines. We'll run it from, say, here to here. And that should work just fine for now. Nothing in this area is filling in. Literally nothing. I mean, there's demand. People clearly want to live somewhere. Our trailer park is filled out pretty nice. Actually, it looks like kind of a pleasant trailer park. I don't think I'd hate living here. See if there are any zoning areas that I've missed. I can put some more in here, and there's not a whole lot that I overlooked. Just that one little section. But this works nicely. It looks pretty good. The parking lot makes sense. The park in the middle is fine. This is officially a perfectly decent trailer park. There's one or two places that haven't filled in yet. Oh, and this is starting to get some commerce. Good. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix up our lines. We have harbor terminal. Freight terminal. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for ferry pathway here. You go to here along the coastline. And then there, all done. Let's remove these lines. We have 2 stops. I'm hoping I can move these stops. But I'm not sure that I can. Apparently there are people waiting there. Okay, drag this. Drag, drag, drag. And move stop. That actually worked, to my not insignificant surprise. I figured I was going to have to remake the lines. And you get to go there. All right. So our ferries have been diverted to somewhere that makes more sense. Now we have a real hub going on here. Nobody wants to live here. Very strange. I mean, we could turn it into offices or commerce. Traffic-wise, commerce probably isn't ideal. But, you know, might be worth a try. And that gives us a little space here for some more industry. What we'll do is we'll put down a few large factories. And we'll have some smaller things in the middle. Have to be careful with the density here because it's just hard to keep this area filled out. But something like that should work. And we could, by the look of this, lower this entire road some. From here all the way down to the waterside. That's better. Yeah, that should be fine. And then we can zone some industrial up against the water as well. Same thing again, we'll do a couple of big factories. We'll just do like here, we'll do 3 big factories here and plenty of open space between them. And we'll gravel the rest of this up. I think I might turn this to gravel as well, down to right about there, just so that it fits in a little better with the other areas. Hey, check it out, we're getting some residential infill here. About time. This guy has a tree in the middle of his house. That's not convenient. So we don't have a whole lot of people waiting for ferries here. Here's one coming in. It's full. That's good. see what comes in after it unloads. I just moved it, so I expect it'll take a while before everything normalizes. 21. And let's go to the stops here and see how many people are waiting. This terminal has 2 routes, one across the river and one up to Squirrel Grove. 27. This one has no passengers. 17. I'm not getting a lot of ferry traffic. I got a lot of people waiting here, though. So this line just goes back and forth, and I just have the one ferry here. It's a bit of a jump, but, you know, call it a leap of faith. And they're not waiting to go across the river, they're waiting to go over here, which I think is this train. Train, yeah, water train, you know. Bodie McWater train. Which line is this? It's the number 2 line. And the number 2 line has one vehicle. Let's just up that to 2. And I think maybe I need to move the path here just a tad because it's, well, God, that's the standard setup, right? So there's nothing there that really needs doing. Okay, all right, so this is nice. These are nice houses. It looks like it's right on the border of our granola district, yeah. Which is fine. I don't mind having a bit of a mix of houses. We've got some regular houses and some self-sustaining ones here. And that is cool. Let's put down a little path along the back here. And we'll make it a footpath. Just a regular, well, let's use a gravel path. Okay, I can't apparently get close to the, no, I can. Okay, I just need to pop it down manually by the look of it. Beautiful. Little recreational path along the water there. I don't think it'll get much use, but that's not necessarily the point. All right, so this here, I'm bothered by this. I can't really fix it, but what I can do is make it less ugly. We can put up some fencing to protect people from accidentally dropping in. Maybe like a lone nature reserve fence. We'll put it down from here to here and then over to here. That way the poor sods won't all go tumbling off the cliff. Actually, we should probably run it farther down here, huh? We'll run it down to, say, there. And then we'll just put some vegetation on the hillside. Roof vegetation. How did I end up here? Are these nice? Do I want some of these? Can't really tell. Because I'm in leisure mode for some reason. Go away. Go away. Do I need to, like, scare it away or something? What's going on here, people? That was a little weird. Anyways, back to what I was doing. And what I was doing is trying to put down some vegetation. Right. Nothing's ever easy. Are these nice? Do I even want these? Oh, they're not bad, actually. I guess they're meant to go on rooftops of sustainable buildings. But, you know, whatever you can use them for, you should use them for. No need to be picky. Do what looks nice. Wow, that tree pushed him over the edge on land value there. Not what I'm looking for right now. Let's grab some foliage here to just kind of cover the slopes. Maybe a little more here. That looks pretty good. It's filling in nicely. That's a cute little area. I hope these land values end up pretty high, though. I mean, they are waterside, and that adds a lot to land value, so that in its own right is a good thing. I don't understand why this is dipping like that. There's no reason this needs to be on the ground here. If anything, kind of makes more sense for it not to be. So maybe I need to replace one little section here. To width this one because it's not quite straight. And straight line and standard mode with a straight slope so we don't get any weird dips, and turn off the bulldozer. There. Always going to be some NIMBY that's upset that there's, you know, a railroad going through their backyard. In fairness, I can understand being upset about a railroad going through your backyard. But I'm going to put my mayor hat on and say that that's your problem. This would be a good place for a bar. And this would be a good place for some kind of curb. Let's see what we've got. Really? Nothing? Interesting. Anyway, this is kind of what I was looking for right here. That doesn't really look good there, does it? I'm not feeling any of these, really. Just doesn't match the shape, so let's go with something a little more straightforward. We'll just put, save lag. Put two of these down. Slap some trees in there. Something non-native, I think. And then we'll pair that with some slightly more regular looking trees. That's nice, right? I think that's nice. Okay, so we have a little bit of time now, maybe not as much as we need, but we have a little bit of time to look at our public transit and see how everything's going. I'm particularly interested in lines that are just overloaded or not getting any use at all. We have a lot of bus lines. And let's see, the number 3 line is dreadfully unpopular. That's this purple line that goes around in a circle here. Can I move this? I can't. Stop it. Yeah, so this line has been largely made redundant by the tram, I think. There's literally just this area that it's serving, and honestly, you can bloody well walk there. So we're going to get rid of the number 3 line. Our next least popular line is the number 2 line, which is one of our very oldest lines here. And this one, again, has been largely made redundant by our network of trams here. It also runs kind of a crazy path. Let's take a look and see. Well, there are definitely people using this, so that's fine. What else? Number 9. Number 9 is the red line here. What does the red line here do? It's reasonably full. It's fine. Number 6 seems to be working well. All of these lines so far seem to be pretty good. Let's look at the busiest ones. And this is our single busiest line. And this is the bus line that serves all of our new Asylum Mount neighborhood. And we have one very busy bus stop here. That's people going up the hill by the look of it. And arriving from the station here. I'm not too sure about this setup. Let's move these stops around just a little. Right. This should go here. And this should have a matching stop. And this stop here, I'm wondering why so many people are stopping specifically here. But you know, it wasn't a crazy number, so that's fine. Our next most populous line, I don't see anything crazy going on here. There's 49 people. The buses are mostly full, but it's all fine. This is a bit of a problem. The number 12 line here has a lot of people wanting to use it. And that's because it serves a large part of South Squirrel Grove. It's fine. It's all good. Nothing to worry about. Let's look at our trams. How did we end up with this many trams? Nothing crazy here, if anything. Don't really have enough traffic to justify this line. We have lines going in both directions here. And it's almost unjustifiable. Let's cut the funding just a little bit. Number 7 line, nothing crazy. Again, if anything, too many trains. Number 3 line, too many trains. Cut it down to 2. I'm trying to save a little bit of money too, obviously. Is that the number 3? Yeah. Number 6. Cut the count down by 1 here as well. The number 1 line. 8 vehicles. Crazy long line. Oh, this is the line that goes all the way through town. But again, not too busy. Just looking at this, let's cut this down to 6 trains. That leaves us with the number 5 line, which too many trains. And the number 2 line with too many trains. Okay, good. So that's the tram sorted. Let's look at the metros. This I'm dreading. Okay, which train is this? This is the line that goes from... What's going on here? Too few services? That's because I deleted that bus line. whatever, you know, if they decide that they need to go abandoned over that, we'll bulldoze them and rebuild. Not the end of the world. Let's get back to that lines overview. We'll sort this from quietest to busiest. And this guy, there's a lot of people waiting and somehow not a lot of people on the train. Not quite other way around. Let's cut this down to 4. I'm probably going to regret some of this, but okay. Number 4 line is the line up to Asylum Mount, and this one looks okay. I don't think we need to cut any lines here. The number 7 line, for some reason, got a lot of people here. This is the line that does nothing but go back and forth from our main transit hub to Funky Town. And it is completely full, so add a 4th line here, a 4th train. And then finally our number 6 line. Yeah. So this is the train that goes from Rail Yard Flats in our train station to the university to the main transit hub and then to Bywater View and Bodacious Beach. And this one has a lot of people waiting here, heading towards the university. Maybe we could make a new or different way to get to the university to kind of alleviate the metro, but I don't know what that might be. We'll think about that next time. For now, I feel like everything's in reasonable shape. Look at the ferries. We have one train here. One boat. Water train. I can't really do less. Again, nothing going. None of these things are making me much money. If anything, this purple line, which goes from Funky Town to Squirrel Grove. Maybe this one could use one more boat. See, I got it right that time. Because these are full. So let's slap a 3rd boat on this line. And excellent. Let's look at the blimp. Got 2 blimps running now, and it looks like that is a perfectly acceptable number of blimps. I'm reasonably sure I'm not making money on this, but whatever. And then we have 1 taxi stand somewhere, which is, again, a severe case of whatever. Not sure why. Hey, check it out. Galaxy Park has reached level 4, and I can make a climbing frame. I think I want to do that. I think a climbing frame would be a cool thing to have. What's going on here? Not enough raw materials. How are you not getting enough raw materials? You're literally an oil plant in an oil field. I don't know, man. These industries are just weird. So we're not generating plastics because we're not getting enough oil. Distraction. We'll worry about that next time. This is filled in nicely. This is actually pretty cool. We've got some trailers here, and we've got some manufactured homes, and it just looks pretty good. There's one section here that hasn't filled in because it can't. So be it. We'll pop down a tree or 2. How about some of those nice redwoods? Look at that. It's a perfect place for a couple of giant shade trees, isn't it? You know what? We can have more of this. We can put some redwoods here and maybe squeeze one in here. Very nice. I imagine that if I'm a blimp operator, I'm going to go live there because it would make my commute really convenient. Let's see. We have a fair number of people here. That's probably for the purple line. The other one seems to be much less popular. We don't have a whole lot of parking around here. We have this parking garage, and that's kind of it. We do have some parking garages around downtown. I put one down here, and there's another one over here for the tourist attractions. Let's see about that climbing frame that we can now build in our park. A level 4 unlock, the single level 4 unlock, by the way. That's this guy. So, something for the kids. We have a playground there already. What would be a good place for another one? Here? Right by the road? Or shall we put a little trail out? It's all a little crowded already. I think we'll just, well, here would be appropriate, actually. Let's pop it down there. Put down a little road. Put down a little road, he said. From, say, here to here. Right about there. And we'll slap down our climbing frame. It's just a playground by any other name. But that looks like an excellent place for it. Except it, like, came automatically overgrown. It's because of all the foliage I put down here. I want to keep most of it, but we have these big old piles of vegetation that don't... Whoa, hello. Hello, large tower. Blocking my view like it was nobody's business. And... let's just pop down a few trees at the end. Yeah, we primarily just like the local foliage here, but I'm having a redwood kind of day. So we'll do that, put some vegetation underneath it. Doesn't really matter what, just something to look good. It's basically just a playground, which is fine. You know, it counts as an attraction. It'll make the park a little more appealing, where my homemade playground here does absolutely nothing of the sort. I think we need some trees around the homemade playground. Maybe, oh, fruit trees. We could have a couple of fruit trees flanking this. That looks nice. Are people actually visiting the pier? Can I see? Not many. But the park itself is hugely profitable. So that's good news. And we're still not in the green, but we're kind of vacillating, and it very much depends on the upswing, downswing thing here. We've just peaked, and now we're starting to go down again. I think we peaked here and haven't quite reached that before, because at one point I had this whole area just completely full of high density residential. So our capacity has actually decreased ever so slightly since then. Not a big deal. Let's go ahead and fill these little gaps in because we don't like those. And even here, I think we can just kind of fill all this in. And now I'm seeing that our water level, hello? Our key here needs to be a little higher. Let's just line it up with the terminal like that. And we'll do the same thing over here. Won't take too much, I think. Or can we? I mean, maybe. Let's see what happens. I think there's a node here that I can't access. Oh wow, look at these. This is like extremely high-end commerce. They're low density, but they're very cool and modern looking. Don't see the very high-end commerce and residential stuff in low density very often because it usually gets converted to high density long before that. This is something I made for the little time lapse I did last week. It's just kind of a junkyard or a staging yard. Storage yard, I think, for municipal services. I thought it looked neat. Pretty happy with the way everything's going around here. I think next episode we might be ready to expand out here a little bit, maybe put down a new university or possibly even a theme park. So do please tune in for that. But for now, this is going to do it. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate your patronage and I hope to see you all next time. Peace.